dealing with hip pain and it's not going away, listen up. This is like the majority of the conversations that I have. So lots of gals are like, I have bursitis, I have a weak glute med, my core is weak, all of the above. And I'm going to physical therapy. And I'm like, great, that's amazing. What are you doing? And they're like, I'm doing clamshells, I'm doing squats, I'm doing lunges, I'm doing monster walks. And I'm like, you getting better? And they're like, not really. And I'm like, okay, what could be missing out of that program? So this is the number one thing that I see. If we're doing stuff like squats and lunges, we're working like the big muscles that are around the hip, but we're really forgetting like the deeper muscles that attach really deep to the hip socket. The clamshell is working some of like the deep rotators and like the glute med. However, it's not really working it in like a functional capacity. We're not like laying down on our sides all day, you know, trying to do the dishes, or laying down on our sides trying to run. So it's not like meeting us really where we're at. Top 2 tips, let's go. We want to have our exercises that we're focusing on the deeper muscles with our body in contact with the ground. So we want our foot in contact with the ground, or if we're doing like a side plank, we want our like side body in contact with the ground. So we're actually putting input into that joint in the way that we're living our life when we're on our feet and when we're, you know, trying to run. Number 2, we want to do something that's going to target stability for this hip joint. So imagine that this foot is in contact with the ground and I'm doing something like rotation where my whole pelvis is moving over this hip and it's getting those deeper muscles to stabilize. Or maybe I'm doing like a single leg glute bridge and it's just this leg in contact with the ground and my whole pelvis is moving over just this static point here, and it's getting those deeper muscles to engage as well as the bigger muscles to fire on top of that. Okay, so something like a single leg glute bridge, or one of my favorites is the hip airplane, where my whole pelvis is moving over this static limb. They're going to focus on getting those deeper muscles to fire and stabilize around the hip joint without completely blowing past them and like trying to lift super, super heavy, like with the back squat or a lunge or something like that. So if you feel like you're like just haven't been making the progress that you have and you're going to PT, maybe ask and say like, can we work on some more stability work, or comment club here and you can get access to my whole hip stability program.